night and through the day she was driving me insane. My driver and my fireman tried everything they know to shoo the quacker away from me, but she did not want to go. The quacker clearly loves me, was impossible to nab. So now we have befriended her, she rides inside my cab. She quacks in stations big and small, she quacks at people too. Now everyone calls her Donald Duck, but they call her my quackaroo. She makes me so happy with her little ways. So happy, it's true. Now everyone calls her Donald Duck, but they call her my quackaroo. Quacking here, quacking there, she's quacking everywhere. Quack, quack, choo, 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 she's my little quackaroo. She's quacking here and there, she's quacking everywhere. Quack, quack, shoo, 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 she's my quackaroo. Now everybody loves her, they love to hear her quack. And when we have to say goodbye, they ask when she'll be back. She's captured everybody's heart, she knows just what to do. Now everyone calls her Donald Duck, but she's my quackaroo. She makes me so happy with her little ways. So happy, it's true. Now everyone calls her Donald Duck, but they call her quackaroo. Quacking here, quacking there, she's quacking everywhere. Quack, quack, choo, 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 she's my little quackaroo. She's quacking here and there, she's quacking everywhere. Quack, quack, shoo, 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 she's my quackaroo. She's my quackaroo. She's my quackaroo. His name is a top hat. Some people say he's stout, rather rotund, really quite round, but he doesn't see it like that.
He considers he's a gentleman of merit, with a railway exquisitely fine.
But his main aim is to see that his trains run right on time. Sir Topham Hatt, he's the head of the railway, there is no doubt about that. Controller of the line, it's plain as plain can be, for everyone to see that it's the fat controller's railway. One day he was having breakfast, when Thomas decided to call. He arrived unexpected and quite uninvited,
Straight through the dining room wall.
My goodness, said the controller. Why didn't you knock on the door?
This won't do at all, just look at my wall and my breakfast on the floor. Sir Topham Hatt, he's the head of the railway, there is no doubt about that. Controller of the line, it's plain as plain can be, for everyone to see that it's the fat controller's railway. He's so proud of his edges, each and every one. And though he's strict and meticulous, favorites he has none. If ever there is trouble, you know who will be there.
If there's ever a crash, a smash, or a muddle, he's there at the double, no trouble.
'Cause it's the fat controller's railway. tunnel. Everyone tried to push, but Sir Topham Hatt would have none of that.
My doctor has forbidden me to push.
And one day the wind blew his hat off.
A goat in the field saw his chance.
He just picked up the hat, said thank you for that, and ate it up for lunch. Sir Topham Hatt, he's the head of the railway, there is no doubt about that. Controller of the line, it's plain as plain can be, for everyone to see that it's the fat controller's railway. Sir Topham Hatt, he's the head of the railway, there is no doubt about
one morning, Gordon's fire would not light. "I don't know what's wrong," sighed the firelighter. "There must be gremlins about." "What are gremlins?" asked Percy. "I've heard that they're little green men who play tricks," replied Thomas. "Can we find one?" "Pah!" said James. "Gremlins don't exist. They're just an excuse when things go wrong. If Firelighter says there are gremlins, there are." "Ha!" snorted James. Sir Topham Hatt had heard everything. "Silence!" he said. "I am expecting a VIP, a very important person today. She has heard that all my engines are really useful. Please prove it." "Yes, sir," they all said. "As long as the gremlins let us." "What gremlins?" "The ones in Gordon's fire, sir. That's why he's not ready yet." "I'll see about that," thundered Sir Topham Hatt. And he did. "Gordon, I expect you to be on your best behavior today. You are to pull the special coach for my special visitor. But no high speeds, please. She won't like that." Gordon was proud and pleased. He was waiting for his special coach when Percy puffed in with some freight cars. "What's the matter, Gordon? You're late." "Driver says there's gremlins in the turntable," replied Gordon. "They must be everywhere," squeaked Percy. At last the turntable was mended, and Gordon puffed away with the special coach. He was soon working hard to make up for lost time. After he arrived at the station, Sir Topham Hatt became concerned. "Where's Thomas?" he wondered. "He's supposed to be bringing my visitor from the docks." "Huh," huffed Gordon. "Thomas isn't really useful if he's late." But it wasn't long before Thomas arrived. "I'm sorry. A cow strayed on the line and we had to wait for the farmer to take her away. But driver says your visitor is here safe and sound." "Indeed she is," smiled Sir Topham Hatt. "How nice to see you." "Who is it?" whispered Percy. "I don't know," replied Thomas. "But Sir Topham Hatt is certainly keen to please her. He's arranged a special party for her." "She's got a dog as well," said Percy. "Row! Come on, Thomas," said the driver. "You need a drink." "Pah!" puffed Gordon. "Thomas is just a lazy little engine. Sir Topham Hatt is expecting me to arrive on time. We're late because of Thomas." Gordon's driver had decided to make up for lost time. Then there was trouble. "I think we'd better slow down. This is an old line and could make things uncomfortable for the VIP." And it did. She was taking a bath and the water was slopping all over the place. "Oh!" she cried. Gordon was very relieved to reach his final destination, where Thomas was waiting to collect Sir Topham Hatt and his special visitor. He blew an extra long whistle. This frightened the visitor's dog so much that he fled from the station and ran into a field where a bull was grazing. The bull frightened the little dog even more. He ran back again, onto the platform and over the bridge. "Row! Row! Row!" He didn't stop until he jumped straight into Thomas's cab. "Row!" But he had a wonderful ride, all the way to the docks. "What's the dog's name?" asked the fireman. "Well, after today's events, I think I'll rename him Gremlin," Sir Topham Hatt chuckled. "In that case, I've met one at last. Ha ha!" "Excuse me, sir, but who is your very important visitor?" "Why, didn't I tell you? This lady is my mother, and she agrees with me. You are indeed really useful engines, and my mother, of course, is always right. Ha 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 ha!"
Every day where the little engines work, the crisp air is suddenly filled with a familiar noise. The lakes and mountains have many visitors, and Harold the helicopter flies the sky, making sure that no one is in trouble. All present and correct. Time to return to base. Then Harold noticed something. A sturdy diesel was coming round the mountain. Harold flew lower for a closer inspection. I'm Harold. Who are you? I'm Rusty, replied the diesel. Don't recall seeing you before. What brings you this way? Sir Topham Hatt sent me to help the other engines, huffed Rusty. This was no time for a chat with a helicopter. Well done. Cheers, and keep up the good work. Cheeky chopper, muttered Rusty. Not long now, encouraged the driver. We'll soon be at the top station. Peter, Sam, and Sir Handel were glad to see Rusty. Even so, Sir Handel wouldn't stop grumbling. The cars didn't like Sir Handel and wanted to play tricks on him. No one understands our feelings, sympathized Gordon. Now, if you were ill, you couldn't shunt cars. Could you? Good idea, replied Sir Handel. I'll try it. He did so next morning. I don't feel well, he groaned. There wasn't time to examine him, so some of his cars were coupled behind Peter Sam's coaches. Rusty promised to follow with the rest. Peter Sam didn't mind the extra work. He left his coaches at the station and trundled cheerfully on. Soon they reached the quarry where the cars were needed. Empty cars at the bottom of the slope are hitched to a cable. Loaded ones at the top are hitched to another. By their weight, loaded cars run down the steep slope, pulling the empty ones up. Peter Sam duly waited at the bottom of the slope for the loaded cars. He never bumped cars unless they misbehaved. But the loaded cars couldn't see him properly. They thought he was Sir Handel. Their chance for trickery had come. Faster! Faster! They yelled. No, no, wailed the empty cars. It's Peter Sam! But it was no use. Hurrah! Hurrah! Roared the cars. Peter Sam shut his eyes. Beep! Beep! Wailed Peter Sam. Rusty was working nearby and came to help clear up the mess. Bust my buffers, exclaimed Rusty. Never mind, Peter Sam. We'll get you out. Peter Sam felt battered. His funnel was cracked and his boiler dented. Thank you, Rusty, he sighed and limped slowly home. I'm sorry about your accident, said Sir Handel. I always stand well back. Cars don't like me. Why didn't you warn me? I didn't think. You never do. You can start thinking now while you're doing Peter Sam's work as well as your own. That'll teach you to pretend you're ill. Sir Handel did start thinking about Gordon. When the wreckage was cleared away, Rusty set off along the line. Splendid to see you again, whizzed Harold. I'm completing my evening's lookabout. Well done. Cheers, and keep up the good work. And the little diesel purred back home.